A new 48 Hours investigation is looking into the disappearance and death of a very wealthy and successful businesswoman named Andreen McDonald. She had turned an assisted living business into a $1 million company, and she seemingly had it all. Gorgeous home, high-end cars, lavish lifestyle. Peter Van Sant reports now for this week's 48 Hours.
29-year-old Andreen McDonald, a businesswoman, wife and mother who had turned her assisted living healthcare business into a $1 million enterprise, had seemingly vanished from her home, recalls childhood friend Mandy Hall.
I remember a panic set in. Andreen is not the person to go take off somewhere no one knows where she is.
Her purse was still there, her keys were on the counter, and her vehicles were still there.
Investigator Frank Stubbs saw something startling in the bathroom.
I found there was blood on the wall in an area that was kind of odd. There was blood and hair on a light switch.
Andreen's husband of 10 years, Air Force Major Andreen McDonald, told investigators the last time he had seen his wife was the night before.
Did you see any signs of bruising on his body, any signs of any injuries, that perhaps he'd been in a struggle?
Nothing that we could determine.
But the next day, investigators discovered items inside Andreen's car that were not there during their initial search, including a shovel and, in a trash can, some clothing that appeared to be Andre's.
We found blood on the pocket of the jeans.
Although investigators had suspicions about Andre, without a body, none of the evidence collected proved that a murder had occurred. Law enforcement, along with volunteer search teams, family and friends, came out to search for Andreen.
How many miles did you cover?
It was hundreds of miles.
Their search ended when a local farmer made a shocking discovery.
I saw what appeared to be a human skull.
That must have been a shock.
A shock, yes.
And Peter Van Sant joins us now. Wow, Peter. So what happened after Andreen's body was found?
Well, it took a couple of days to positively identify her, and then Andre, her husband, was arrested, charged with first-degree murder, and he pleaded not guilty.
Why did it take a couple of days to figure out what had happened?
She had been put out in this field, and her remains had been there for 133 days. So as you can imagine, there wasn't much left, and they had to do the dental record identifying.
Do we know, Peter, what actually happened to her?
All we know is what Andre has said, because she's gone. He claims that at their home, they got into an argument over the family business. You know, the marriage was ending. This argument ends up escalating into a physical altercation. She ends up falling on the ground, and he admits that he kicked her twice. One of those kicks seemed to knock the wind out of her. At that moment, he notices their young daughter on the second floor in the interior of the house.
How old was she?
At the time, 8 years old.
Boy.
So he goes up to her and gets her back to her bedroom, and he says he was there for some time, comes back down, and his wife, he says, is dead.
That's an unusual defense.
Wow.
Well, the defense turns into that this fight, that his wife, and they introduced video during the course of this trial, you can see her, pressing more than 300 pounds. He says he feared for his life and that this was self-defense. And he also tried to blame his wife for this entire altercation.
Oh, man.
It's a very powerful time. When he's on the stand, it's must-see television.
If you want to see it, Peter Van Sant, thank you very much. If you want to see it, I know you do, you can watch Peter's report, Andreen McDonald, a Millionaire, Vanishes on 48 Hours tomorrow night at 10, 9 Central, right here on CBS and on Paramount+.